Good morning, everybody. Welcome to day 22 of Get Out of the Rat Race Rut. I'm Beth Campbell, career and mindset coach and mentor, former corporate captive. I have not had my coffee yet today because it's early, Sunday morning, helping you find fulfillment. If you need some guidance in finding your career or happy life, please send me a message or go to bethannecampbell.com/coachme. Thank you so much for being here. If you're watching live, please let me know you're here in the comments. And if you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay. All of these lives, of course, are going over on YouTube. Hope maybe you're watching there. Well, hello. Hi, YouTube fans. And of course, if you have any questions or comments or feedback, please let me know so I can address it at the end of the episode or in a future episode. We don't have many future episodes left. We're on day 22, and so what does that leave? After today, we've got, 8? My math is hard. All right, better get right into it because this is a great topic. One of my favorite topics, and another one of my top 5 of the reasons why you are not finding fulfillment. This is a big one, all right? We're going to talk today about discomfort and failure. That's right. And there is a lot to go over here. Discomfort is not your enemy. Failure is not your enemy. Discomfort is the gateway to growth, and failure is the portal to progress. Yes, I made those up in my own little brain. And both of these things, really, they're kind of just versions of the same thing, can be critical. They are critical to your growth and success. Successful people fail often, and they learn from their failures. And there have been so many studies done on students and athletes and other groups of people about how they handle failure and discomfort. There's one study, it's kind of pretty well known. It was done on students by a Stanford University professor. Her name is Carol Dweck. I think it's a she. I don't know. Carol could be a he. Anyways, they categorized most people as having a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. And they wrote, in the fixed mindset, everything is about the outcome. If you fail or if you're not the best, it's all been wasted. The growth mindset allows people to value what they're doing regardless of the outcome. They're tackling problems, they're charting new courses, they're working on important issues, end quote. So study after study after study shows that people who fail over and over and over and keep trying have the best success because they learn. It's not just being uncomfortable or failing, it's learning from those mistakes and getting stronger. So there's this other person, his name is Jason Seib. I might have mentioned him on this live before, but I've certainly talked about him in posts and podcasts. So he used to be a health and fitness coach, and he would help women lose weight, get fit, and he would watch these women just succeed and have great success and reach their goals and lose weight and get healthy. And then at some point, almost every one of them just stopped. Like they quit, right? And it frustrated him. And so he started looking into this and researching, and he determined that one of the big things is that they had difficulty with discomfort. The discomfort of not eating that candy bar when we're stressed, for example. And I talked about this myself a couple weeks ago on day 9, self-image session. My own struggles living in discomfort when it comes to procrastinating, when I'm heading to the kitchen because I'm avoiding something that's stressful. So Seib, by the way, also puts a lot of focus on self-image in his current program. So it's not just me. Self-image, very important. But anyway, so his program focuses on helping people, mainly women, get comfortable being uncomfortable. I have witnessed the effects of people having paralyzing aversion to failure and discomfort about things that you and I, most of us, would consider fairly moderate or even minor. I have people in my own circle of family and friends who are struggling with any kind of uncomfortable change. And I'm not talking like hesitating because something's hard or I have to think about it or I'm a little nervous. I'm talking about panic attacks and severe anxiety and inability to cope with anything difficult. And I first became aware of this sort of fear of failure and discomfort in the corporate world, of course, because where is most of the stress in the corporate world, right? So I had a few folks that reported to me on my team, and they tended to be younger, but although this is not exclusively a young person thing, And they seemed stifled with any change that seemed to be difficult or any situation that was uncomfortable. And for them, like failure of any kind, even like a mild challenge with like a new process or a technique or making a minor mistake, it became colossal in their minds. And this manifested differently with different people. So one person was very secretive about his work and he wouldn't reach out for help when he was struggling, which by the way, everybody struggles. He would tell me everything's fine, and then I would find out later through his work that, we delays and such that everything was not fine. And I was asking because this person had a history, and so I would ask and I would get the same answer, but it turned out that everything was not fine. Another person got anxiety, like seriously couldn't work, like had to take time off, like their demeanor was such that it was so obvious on a call that they were under extreme duress. So different manifestations. They both felt like failures and both of them needed a lot of hand-holding. Now contrast this with another young employee who was fine taking on challenges. He had no issue reaching out when he didn't know something. He learned when he made mistakes. Fixed mindset, growth mindset, just two different things. And I do believe, especially with the younger folks, that COVID is a big factor in some of this failure issues. I mean, you want to talk about having fear and having your youth stolen, right? But world according to Beth, I believe it's also upbringing as well. So when I was young, my mother made me take responsibility for my actions. And I don't think she was consciously aware of giving me these great lessons. And for sure, I was not aware at the time. In fact, I was annoyed as hell. But if I wanted to, like, for example, quit some activity or start something new or make a change, she wouldn't stop me, but she wouldn't do the deed herself. She would make me do it, right? She would just tell me, you have to take that responsibility. So I had to call the piano teacher and tell her I wanted to quit. I had to talk to the band teacher myself. Excuse me, got a little hair of the dog. I had to talk to my band teacher when I wanted to change from the oboe to the saxophone. Long story. Saxophone's just cooler. What can I say? I had to call the lady and ask if I could take voice lessons. And then I had to call the dance instructor and quit ballet when I was like 8. And she's like, no, you have to do it, right? She wouldn't do it for me. And this happened, and this type of thing with my mom happened over and over in my childhood and as an adult. And I so appreciate now that she did this, because it really helped me to develop a level of comfort being uncomfortable. And that has helped hugely in my career, both in my traditional professional jobs as well as being a business owner. Okay, so how can failure and discomfort really help you? Okay, I need a sip of coffee for this one. Okay, embracing failure and discomfort can make us more resilient. The more we pick ourselves back up, the stronger we get, the better we can overcome the next challenge. Michelle Obama said, failure is a part of the process. You just learn to pick yourself back up. Yes, Michelle. Michelle, please run for president someday. We also grow when we fail. The best way to grow is to make mistakes and to learn from them. And Henry Ford said, the only real mistake is the one from which we learn nothing. It improves our confidence in ourselves. I mean, right? Every time we fail and recover or overcome discomfort, we gain a little bit more confidence in ourselves and in our ability to succeed the next time. We become better role models for others who struggle with failure or difficult change. They see us fail and get back up. It helps them to understand that they can do the same. The world did not come crashing down because we made a mistake or we had to ask for help, and they see that, and we can be that role model. Failure can help build character. Do not judge me by my successes. Judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again. Nelson Mandela. We improve our skills through failure and discomfort. Like working through a challenge and getting uncomfortable leads to learning. Learning leads to new skills. Failure helps us be creative. We have to look for new ways of doing things when we fail. There is no innovation and creativity without failure, period. Brené Brown. Failure and discomfort can often lead to opportunities. I mean, what lies on the other side of fear? Glorious things. Jason Seib, who I mentioned earlier, has this great, I want it on a t-shirt. He says, discomfort is the herald of opportunity. Discomfort is the herald of opportunity. I just love that. I want it on a mug, but I have too many mugs and too many t-shirts, so I'll figure something out. All right, we become more empathetic and more compassionate towards others who fail because we've been there. We know. And we can also celebrate because we know that they're going to grow, right? It's a celebration time. And embracing discomfort and failure are liberating and empowering because we let go of the shame and the guilt and the rigidity of that pursuit of perfection, right? How many of us are perfectionists and oh my gosh, but it's okay. It's okay to not be perfect. Michael Jordan, who's perhaps the greatest basketball player of all time, certainly in the top 5 in the US and one of the most recognized in my lifetime, he said this: I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. Oh, I get chills. That doesn't inspire you? Think of it this way. Here's a quote from Janet Fitch, who's the author of White Oleander. The phoenix must burn to emerge. I want that on a t-shirt. The phoenix must burn to emerge. So go out there and burn. I could talk about failure and discomfort all day long, every day. There are so many nuances, and it would take a week to really dig in. So if you need help overcoming failure or working through a difficult change, send me a message or go to bethannecampbell.com/coachme. All right, it is a foggy Sunday morning here in Central Virginia. I see no comments because you know what? If I didn't have this, I would probably just be chillaxing myself. But I'm so happy to be here for you today. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about one-on-one meetings. Do you even have them? Do you find them valuable? How can we make them better? I remember I was like so shocked at one of my jobs. I had been there for a while and I had, come from a utility company and been there for 16 years before that and always had one-on-ones with my boss and with my team when I became a manager. And I just remember on my particular team, so it was an engineering firm and we were kind of the redheaded stepchild. Sorry, no offense, redheads. I have many in my family, my 2 sisters. But we were sort of like the outlier to this tech team in this engineering firm. And I remember somebody saying to me once, it might have been my boss at the time, that they didn't think that any of the other teams did one-on-ones or not many of them. And I just thought that was so weird. Like, to me, it's just a given. Anyway, I'll talk about that tomorrow. So we'll talk about one-on-ones. All right. Thank you so much. Don't forget to connect with me on Facebook or LinkedIn. And thank you again for joining Get Out of the Rat Race Rut. You're here because you are a badass. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. I will see you tomorrow.